Recording
the,
in progress.
the last time you played Buffalo, which seems like forever ago, but they put it on you pretty good in that game. And I'm wondering now, the thought process going in, you got some guys coming back. Is there a thought to maybe seeing how much you guys have improved or how you're viewing the game, maybe in a redemptive manner? Like, what's the approach?
I think, the stage of our development as far as a defense is concerned, like improvement, progress, that is the absolute biggest thing that we're trying to achieve. And to go out there and play against a team that is competing for, a better playoff spot, seeding, whatever the case may be, in a very hostile environment. To me, it's like the ultimate measuring stick of where we are, how far we've come. I think that especially the last 4 games, I feel like there has been improvement. And I know that hasn't always been illustrated in the statistical part of it, but guys are starting to gain a better understanding of what we're trying to get accomplished. So my biggest thing is I just want us to go out. Like we all know, to be a playoff contender in this league, you have to own your division, and you have to create an impression, and you gotta dominate your division opponents. So part of it improvement, part of it is to let this division know that it's not the same old Jets team that they've been accustomed to.
Jeff, where do you feel like you guys have made the biggest strides defensively over the last 4 weeks, like you said?
I think it's been a little bit of everything. I think our run defense has improved. The explosive rate has gone down. I think third down, we've started to get better, a little bit more detailed, finer tuned. Guys are gaining a better understanding of what we're trying to get accomplished. I feel like there's been improvement in virtually every area of our defense. So what a great measuring stick to really see how far we have come to play a team that's rolling right now and playing good football, and especially offensively, and with a lot on the line for them in a hostile environment. Like, couldn't ask for anything more as far as where we're at in our development.
Jeff, Sheldon said something about, you guys want redemption. Do you sense that? Do you sense that, there was that embarrassment last time?
Probably, and if that's the little added motivation to prepare and to meet and to walk through and to practice and like whatever it takes, I don't pass judgment on guys and what motivates them, because everybody's motivated a little bit different way. But I would definitely say that there's some guys, probably including myself in some ways, that want some redemption. When a team's got a comfortable lead on you and they keep throwing the ball deep on you, like that leaves a mark, that leaves an impression.
Jeff, I was wondering if you could just kind of talk a little bit to us. I know it's in the past and all, but it's the first time we've kind of had a chance to talk to you here about the 3rd and 20 conversion that the Buccaneers were able to get on you guys last Sunday. Just specifically what happened on that, because it looked like it was soft coverage, and I mean, the guy was just sitting there at the sticks.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. Could I gotten to us a better call? Probably. Maybe in hindsight, to go back and pressure them and accelerate the quarterback might have been better. Our thought process on that down was to really protect the numbers and pack the defense kind of inside out, force the hardest throw in football, a 20-yard outbreaker at the sticks. I felt like we can make that play. We can make that play as far as the underneath defense, maybe getting a little bit more depth, forcing some air on the ball. We can make that play as far as the top down corner. We can make that play as far as the safety, just as far as, because the ball is just in the air so long. And then at the same time, we got to provide pressure right there. You can't let any quarterback, let alone the greatest quarterback of all time, to sit back there and pat the ball. So we could have executed better in that play, and I could have helped him too with potentially like some pressure or some man. We'll be a little bit more connected to people. So we can both be better, player and coaching alike.
Jeff, the other situation I was wondering about from Sunday is their last drive when they get the ball back with 2 minutes left. You had been pretty aggressive again on them. How do you balance in that situation being aggressive versus trying to keep everything in front of you, knowing they have no timeouts? Just kind of what's the thought process of a play caller there in that situation?
Yeah, like up to that point, like you said, we had been extremely aggressive, probably pressured more than any game this year in every capacity: first down, second down, third down, 2 minute, the whole deal. It was just a situation where we weren't defending a field goal. We weren't defending. It wasn't like they had 5 minutes to drive. It's the clock was winding down. We were defending only a touchdown. I chose to go with a softer off coverage, trying to keep everything in front of us and tackle them. Up to that play, like we'd done an excellent job. 3 tackles, kept them in bounds, kept the clock moving. I felt at the time like the fact that we were only defending a touchdown, that's not necessarily the time to be aggressive. You pressure, somebody falls down, somebody slips, and all of a sudden you're giving up a touchdown in a situation where I didn't feel like pressure was the best thing to do. Now, in hindsight, could it have helped and accelerated them and caused a play? Maybe, but at the same time, that's it. That's us executing at a higher level. That's me preparing these guys at a higher level and really having a better understanding of the situation, that it's a touchdown and a touchdown only, and maybe we could have been a little bit deeper in coverage and prevented that. It's one of those things that I know that this is not it's not the answer that's going to make anybody happy, but when you're raising a young defense like we are right now, we're getting these scars and these battle wounds. And I'd like to think that, as much as that hurt, that failure will lead to like the defense we're trying to create here, a championship level defense. And I know nobody wants to hear that. And I know we got to make that play, and we got to win that game, and we got to finish it. But at the same time, I'm highly confident, for what this is worth, that those guys that were involved in that play, we call that again, that will never happen again. And when we're playing for championships here, like that's going to be one of the reasons that we win them.
On the play, on the game-winning play with Elijah, I mean, what's the teaching point there? I mean, is he supposed to be deeper in the coverage? He barely got, I mean, he almost knocked it down as it was. He almost got his fingertips on that pass. I mean, was he supposed to be more toward the sideline? Was he playing too close to the hash, or what's the correct play there?
Yeah, I mean, he could have been a little bit closer to his coverage, and the corner could have been a little bit deeper to force the ball with a little bit more air. And at the same time, like I've said, like maybe I pressure there and they don't have as much time. And at the same time, the defensive line would tell you at the same time that they need to provide some pressure there. So it's all of us, coaches, players at all levels.
Jeff, I'm curious, this is probably the last time we're going to talk to you for a while. We don't usually get the coordinators after the season. So just kind of a big picture perspective, not to say anything against the current group of guys you have, but you kind of just said it, raising a young defense was a good way to put it. How much has that maybe limited the volume, the aggression, anything in terms of the way you want this defense to be this season that might be different going forward?
Yeah, it was, it's interesting. Not only youth got in our way a little bit at times, and I'm not trying to make any excuses because that's not what it is. But the injuries and the COVID and we had a lot of guys come through here that weren't necessarily here in the offseason, let alone the training camp. We picked a lot of these guys up. Elijah Riley, we picked up Will Parks. We picked up all these guys that ended up playing substantial amount of plays for us that didn't have the background of this defense. So yeah, at times I would have said we probably scaled back and simplified from that standpoint. The most important thing to this defense, to Coach Sala, to myself, to everybody involved, was high level execution, play as fast as humanly possible, as physical as possible. And when you have youth, when you have guys that aren't familiar with your system and you're trying to get that accomplished, I think simplicity is the best way to lean. Now, going forward, I'd like to say that we've built a foundation, especially with some of these younger guys, and their familiarity with what we're doing now gives us the ability to really grow and build on it. So will some things look the same? Yeah, because we're not a high volume defense as it is. We pride ourselves playing fast, great technique, great effort and violence. But at the same time, we do now, I think we'll have the ability to grow a little bit schematically, provide some more answers, provide some more problems for offenses. So I'm super excited about the future of this group and the guys that are here and the guys that will add to it.
You made a little bit of a remark there about it, and you've also mentioned the pass rush a couple of times. I mean, if you look at what Robert and teams Robert has been associated with, at least in San Francisco, there were a lot of resources invested to the pass rush department and that defensive front. Assuming that, kind of situation parlays itself here into New York as well, does that excite you at all to not only think about the guys that you have to work with now, but also the pass rushers that could be coming, whether it be free agency or the draft?
Yeah, absolutely. And getting excited about the guys that will add, I think it's a little bit of a disservice for myself, for the guys that are currently here. I'm excited about these guys finishing and really putting their best foot forward, whether it's to help them become a Jet for life or to go on to their next opportunity, make a ton of money. I just want these guys to have as much success as possible. But I am and I know it didn't feel like we all wanted it to feel, fans, reporters, coaches, none of us, it wasn't by any means the standard of what type of defense we want to play around here going forward. But I think that we have made some strides and we've made progress and excited about these guys growing together and becoming something special.